when is there gonna be like a good horror film coming out this year? For the love of fuck. I mean, I guess I haven't seen Undertone yet. I heard that was pretty good. I mean, The Back Rooms is coming out. Oh my god. Anyway, so I had seen Scream 6 at a like special free screening kind of thing. Um and yeah, that was fun. That was great. That was definitely like for the fans and all that stuff. And then 7 was announced. It was like, sure, why not? Yeah, let's continue. And then they fired Melissa Barrera for having, base ass takes. And then Jen Ortega's like, I gotta film Wednesday. Bye. So they're like, what do we do? And then suddenly, like, the movie poster comes out and it's like, we've got Neve Campbell back. And it's like, that's cool, guys. Yeah, I got Neve Campbell back. She was like, I'm not coming. She was like, initially, like, I'm coming back for one movie and that's it. And then, they're like, yeah, I was just gonna come back for the legacy thing. And it's like, oh, never mind. Anyway, so Scream 7, not good. I knew it wasn't gonna be good, but Jesus Christ. I feel like that's like a thing I've been going through lately, which is a lot of, I didn't have high expectations for it, but my god, is it still bad. And this is yet another, I guess, except for Send Help that I literally reviewed the other day, this is yet another sequel, because we got the Silent Hill one, we got the Strangers one, and then here we have Scream 7. Oh my god. So, in this one, Neve Campbell is in trouble. We've got to make sure Neve Campbell is fine. So, we're going to just go into spoilers. Slap. So, it starts off with, like, this couple. They go to Stu's house, which is now turned into a kind of, like, museum exhibit thing. I learned that house is actually a wedding venue. It's an events venue, but from the pictures I saw, it's mostly weddings. I guess whenever I'm near San Francisco or something, maybe I'll go visit it, maybe book. Can I just like book like a night or two, I'm just gonna like have Paul take pictures of me just like recreating scenes from the movie, because that's what I'd be doing. That's what like probably a bunch of fans are doing. I'm not the only one. God damn it, it probably costs a lot of money because it's one of those kind of things. What am I talking about? We're talking about the movie. Anyway, so yeah, the the house is turned into kind of like a museum thing. And so this couple's there. The girl is like, I don't really want to, like, this is not it. And the boyfriend's like, this is when the thing happened. It kind of seems like mine and Paul's friendship, where I'm very excited about something and he has no fucking idea, and I'll be like, and this is and he's just like, yeah, okay. Anyway, so, they have like a animatronic kind of like ghost face that's in there being like, I'm gonna kill you. And I'm like, okay, cool. Anyway, so, like the phone call, I guess it's part of the experience. You're like, hey, what's your favorite scary movie? Here's some quizzes. And of course, it's always, I get it. Scream is a slasher flick, excuse me. And so then every question they ask is slasher flicks, and to be that bitch, to be like, there's so many other genres in horror. Why are you only just picking like those? Because they're like, here's a question about Friday the 13th. Here's a question about Nightmare on Elm Street. What other movie did they fucking ask about? I mean, at one point, like, towards the end of the movie, they run past a movie theater and, like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is being shown at this tiny theater. Like, okay, like, whatever, girl. Anyway, so they do that, and then, Ghostface ends up being there and actually killing them. I have to give props to the girl because she really fought back. Like, even when the boyfriend was dressed as Ghostface and she just like decked him in the face when she got scared. Good on. It's good because there's, it happens way too often in these movies where it's just like, I complain about that all the time, where it's just like, come on, man. Like, I get it. People have a weird type of fight or flight. Mine is definitely fight, So I get it. Like, but she just decked the boyfriend. He's like, oh, fuck, shit. Again, good on. And so even when actual Ghostface was there, fucking, like, she was fighting. She held her own, Although, my thought was when she was, like, grabbing on the chandelier and trying to get back on the thing, when Ghostface had, like, fallen, I would have just jumped on top of him, like, fucking, wrestling style, like, both feet, like, ah, boom, But then again, she's, like, a petite woman, and I'm a huge-ass bitch. So there's a difference in it. I would cause some damage. She would probably cause more damage to herself. Anyway, so, but, of course, as she, like, falls, that's when he, like, wakes up and he holds, like, the knife there. All that stuff. Fine. I also have to mention that the knife in this movie is, like, is it made out of, like, adamantium? Like, is it made out of fucking vibranium? Because that shit was cutting through, like, anything. A fucking drywall, like, oh, it's drywall, it's the fucking, everything. It's like, I could cut through any, it's like those commercials, like, you could cut through cans, Fuck, okay, sure, man, like, as a bitch who has to, like, deal with cutting shit at work all the time, like, I was cutting, like, foam. I was just cutting foam to pack artwork, and, like, after, like, I don't know, a few cuts or whatever, my ass had to be like, hold on, let me get the sharpening block. I mean, granted, Ghostface probably is doing that, like, in between, like, kills, he's probably like, shing, 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 but, when he was, like, stabbing through the drywall several times and getting all the way through, anyway, I was just like, okay, this movie's getting ridiculous. So, we see Neve Campbell's, we see Sidney Prescott's family. Her husband's Joe McHale. You see her, like, young daughter and all that stuff, who's, like, a teenager, and they make sure to let you know that that the daughter is the same age as her when the shit first started, And then in this movie, so, obviously, in the Legacy film, in the 5th movie, it kind of ran similar to the first movie, and then this one, because the thing is, 6 was its own fucking thing. They're like, we're in New York now, like, the sisters, like, whatever. It's like, it was its own thing, and it kind of was what made it interesting, because it literally was its own thing. This one, it's like, okay, we're just gonna keep reminding you a little bit of the first movie, but also the second movie, because the daughter, like, shows up and, like, is wearing, like, the mom's, like, leather jacket, what she, like, prominently wore in, like, the third act of the second movie, this movie was like, we'll remind you a lot about the second and possibly third movie. Haha, remember? It's just like, we're gonna keep reminding you, member berries, So, of course, Sydney's like, don't wear that. She's like, why not? It's, like, cute and vintage. And she's just like, fine, whatever, like, anyway, so, the movie is also being like, oh, her boyfriend could be Billy, like another Billy Loomis. And sure, he has that very, like, I probably roofied, or will, because they're teenagers. It's like the I in college will eventually roofie a bunch of girls kind of stuff, but I will still be in school and keep my scholarship type of look to him, I don't blame anyone for feeling that way. Even the movie points out that he it don't feel right. But I felt like that was too obvious of like, it had to be him. Because there's no way they're going to do it again. There's no way they're going to do the 5th movie again when it was fucking Melissa Barrera's, what's his name? Jack Quaid. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to do it again. And if they were going to do it again, fuck you, And then there was, like, the friend who they kept calling Creepy Boy, and he's what's-his-name from Gen V, and yeah, he definitely has creepy vibes. Even he said in the movie, I'm too obvious of a suspect, and it's like that's true, because he also is like he like knows Sydney's story a little too much. On one hand, you could be like, he's kind of Randy-esque, where he knows too much, like what's her name, the girl, one of the Meek twins, like she kind of like knows the game kind of stuff. At the same time, because I feel like because he's in such close proximity to main girl's daughter's boyfriend, I was like, nah, there's no way he is also part of it. You know what I mean? Like, he might not be a Ghostface, but in my mind, I was like, he has to at least be associated with Ghostface. Like, he wasn't, in the mask killing, but he, like, knows the people and at least somehow helped. I was kind of right, But anyway, so, whatchamacallit, like, you know, the friend in school dies, and it's freaking what's her name, Mackenzie, yeah, McKenna, not Mackenzie, McKenna Grace, who is like everywhere. um and again, it's like them doing a play, so it's again, it's fucking Scream 2, it's fucking Scream 2, it's fucking Scream 2. you know um so they do that, McKenna's character dies, all that stuff, because she was also like, a diva and all that stuff. So they need that, like, that kind of character to die. They don't want that character to live. And Sydney gets like a FaceTime call, and it's Stu. And it's like, what? I went, huh? It's got scars all over his face. It's like the what you call it? The theory that Stu didn't really die kind of thing. And it's so funny because it's like the Legacy movie happens, and Matthew Lillard would be like, it could be Stu, and everyone's like, what if? It's like, it's not. And then the second movie happens, and they show like Stu's like bloody shirt, and then like the TV in like that old abandoned theater. What was that? Yeah, where it had all the stuff. They're like, because the dad is a cop, so he like collected all the Ghostface stuff. Creepy, And then this one, they're like, oh my god, it is Stu, and I was like, there's no way. There's no way, because then they kept being like, well, they couldn't find the but his body was buried. They're like, there's missing paperwork. I don't think it could be, that kind of stuff. Whatever. I mean, it was great to see Matthew Lillard. It's always great to see Matthew Lillard. We all love Matthew Lillard. I mean, I definitely do. I got to hug him. Anyway. So, of course, she's like freaking out. She's like, oh my god, it's gonna be, it's gonna be Matthew Lillard. It's gonna be Stu. And then, so Sydney also owns like a coffee shop, and then she served coffee to some creep ass guy, and I immediately went like, oh, there's a Fall Guy. I was like, that's the Fall Guy. Like, immediately. If somehow he gets unmasked as Ghostface, that's the Fall Guy. And then look what happened, fucking, when they were in the house and fucking Ghostface was stabbing through drywall, because Sydney has a panic room, which was great, but it wasn't like a full encased panic room. It was like, oh, behind the panic room, you could like, fucking God of War your way, through the drywall, like the Matrix. But the daughter didn't want to like stay in the panic room, had to go with her mom. And mind you, it's just slate wood panels and drywall that are like in between, and you can hear the oh god, mom. So of course freaking Ghostface was like, like, come on. I mean, it was smart of freaking Sydney to like bend his freaking knife, and then and of course, conveniently, that fucking bedroom has a fucking fireplace, so you go, grab the hot poker. Woo! Woo! Also, the fucking fire poker could just go through like that, Like, I think you would have to hit it like a javelin. Anyway, I don't know. I'm poor. I never had a fireplace. I don't know really the hot poker physics. But yeah, they get out of the house, and then, go like Ghostface is like doing the fucking like Final Destination thing that because she was like, oh, what? I'm just backing up into the suburban street car, blah, blah, blah. Out of the car comes Courtney Cox and the Meek twins. I was like, okay, because I saw their names in the credits. I was like, how are they gonna be incorporated into this? Like, okay, fine. And they left New York, so our guess is that Melissa Barrera and Jen Ortega's characters, they stayed in New York, and they're just gonna like, or like they're gone. Like, they're gone. Let's say witness protection. They're gone, right? Fine. So then, freaking the Meek twins are here working with Gail, doing their thing, camera person, opera, whatever. Fine, whatever. So they're like, this part got so cheesy. It was like, they're like, who is it? Oh no, like, I was like, great job, vehicular manslaughter or whatever. And then they're like, we've got to unmask this Ghostface. Like, no joke, they did like such like freaking like terrible like influencer speak. They're like, guys, we're gonna have to, like, it was like, what is this? We have to unmask this Ghostface. It's like Drag Race, like, acting, where they're like, read the line, they're like, I can't do, sequences, like, anyway, they unmask it, it's the guy from the coffee shop. I was like, wow, what did I say? Fucking Fall Guy, so, they, you know, that happens. They end up going to like, oh, because the guy is like, he was recently like, he was a guy from like a mental institution, yada yada. They go there, freaking Ethan Embry is there, you know, Mr. Can't Hardly Wait, you know, that thing you do, you know, also well known, you know, late 90s, 2000s actor. And I immediately went, oh, he's gotta be Ghostface. He's, you know, there's at least two Ghostfaces. I was like, that's at least one of them. I'm like, that's a Ghostface. Like, I immediately knew, because it's like, he's a well-known actor, you know? He's a well-known actor. It's like, of course, they're like, we're at the point where like all the villains now, it's gonna be like Marvel, where you're like, wow, an Oscar award-winning actor. I wonder if they're gonna be the bad guy, you know, like every fucking time. So, you know, I was like, all right, Ethan Embry's like, oh, there's this da da da, and then like making up the story that Stu is real, and I was like, that's not real. And then they're thinking, oh, maybe it's AI, and I was like, yeah. So it was like, fine, it's AI. I mean, even at the end of the movie, it was just like, oh, I'm Stu. And then it's like, what's his face? The half-brother is like, oh, maybe I'm the ghost face. And then it's freaking Laurie Metcalf. And she's just like, remember me from Roseanne, you know, and all that stuff. And it was like, AI. It kind of, like, this reminds me of how, like, annoyed I was with the fourth movie. Because the fourth movie was being all like, I'm filming you. Ooh, content. Like, it was like the self-awareness of like content, and this is kind of almost there, minus, like, it didn't go like what was it, that last Texas Chainsaw movie where they're like, hey man, you better stop or you're gonna get canceled. That fucking shit, you know? But yeah, so then at one point, you know, there's a curfew because, like, you know, a bunch of more people die and all that stuff. Joe McHale gets stabbed like shit. He ends up being alive, which is a surprise. But then again, fucking Mason Gooding's character last time was like, and then when the movie ends, he's like with the oxygen like thing, and he's like, you know, in the gurney, and everyone in the theater was like, how? It's like, whatever. Maybe it's his abs. He's got those abs, so maybe, you know, he's got those hard abs, so they couldn't stab right through it. Anyway, so, I don't know, Joe McHale, he had, I don't know, like, what was it, like, funny plot armor, literally, because he's the funny guy. So, anyway, so, they have a curfew, but all the kids are at, like, I guess the restaurant or something. One of the girls, like, you know, she's like the cutesy, kind of like, hey, you know, adorable girl. But of course, like, I knew she was gonna die because she was so adorable and likable, you know? I'm like, you're gonna die, you know? Yeah, so, like, was it, I love that they nerf the Meat twins because it's like, oh, or I'm gonna stab you in the shoulder, and then he, like, falls down, okay? And then I'm gonna slash her stomach, and she goes, and falls on top of him. It was, like, so silly. It's so fucking silly. Like, this is like, major fucking studio production of, like, a well-known series. And mind you, this isn't, like the later Hellraiser movies where they were, like, Hellraiser in name type of shit, you know what I mean? Where it was just, like, a regular shitty horror film, and then, like, fucking, you know, like, Pinhead just shows up, like, and then they're like, you know? It's like, these have, like, reoccurring people from the previous shit. You know what I mean? Like, this like, money was actually put into this. This was put into theaters. This wasn't straight to DVD, straight to video shit, like I said, like with the later Hellraiser movies. So it's like, why is this acted so fucking poorly? Why is this done so dumb? Like, Jesus Christ, I get it. Y'all fired your best leading actress in the series because y'all fucking dumb as shit. And you're like, what do we do? How are we gonna make this make sense? You're not gonna make it make sense. You're gonna make ass, you know? And then I heard that, like, an 8th movie got signed off on. Why? Like, that's stupid as fuck. You know, what's it gonna be this time? You know what I mean? So we got, like, we got the Billy, like, hallucination. We got the Stu AI. Are they gonna bring Rose McGowan back as, like, as a Tatum, like, you know, hallucination? You know, because she named her daughter Tatum. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we fucking doing? Oh, David Arquette was one of the AIs. You know, he's like, oh, my friend. You know, like, what the fuck, man? So anyway, yeah. So a bunch of, like, so the son dies. Yeah, the son. Sorry. well, the son of the neighbor, the creepy kid, dies. The fucking boyfriend gets fucked up. The adorable girl also dies. So all the friends die. You know, like the lead daughter thing, she's alive. The Meek twins are nerfed, which I knew they weren't gonna die. They were gonna get nerfed because again they've done it before and they're too smart for this, so they had to get nerfed. So the fact that the daughter had to be, you know, again technically new Sidney Prescott, you know, so all that happens. It leads back to the house and all that stuff. And then, you know, like, if you find out, oop, take off the ghost face mask, it's Ethan Embry. Oh my god, I would never have guessed. No way. Or, wow, oh my god, I would never have guessed. Oh my god, you know? And it cracked me up because when he goes, come on, Stu, and then, like, the door just, like, whips open, I literally blurted out, who opened that door? You know? And then what supposedly is supposed to be Stu, and I'm looking at him like, that's too short to be, because Matthew Lillard is a tall guy. Like, I've met him in person. He's a tall. I was like, this is like a short person. And then it's unmasked, and it's, again, the only other actress who's, like, well known. She was, like, the religious church lady from True Blood, because she was, like, the neighbor. Turns out, like, the reasoning is so stupid, because it's like, she had a shitty, abusive husband, and so she kills her husband, but she got away with it, went to a mental institution because, you know, whatever, right? She meets Ethan Embry's character, and then they start plotting. And because they're like, oh, well, Sidney Prescott got away and is living her life because she killed all the bad in her life. What? The other two movies were, these are young kids who were obsessed with Ghostface, so they wanted to be part of the legacy. And then they tried to show this with, like, the son, who's a little bit on the creepy side, and trying to, like, lie to you. And I was like, no, I don't think they're going with that. They're gonna do some bullshit. And there you go. They did the bullshit. They did the fucking bullshit. And it was like, oh, this is why you're gonna die. Anyway, those two end up dying. You know, they're like, goodbye, so long, farewell. You know? And then, you know, and then you see, like, the Meek twins, you know, he's got his, like, arm in a brace because he got stabbed here. The girl, you know, she's got bandages across her tummy, you know, like, oh, fucking shit. And then, you know, the Courtney Cox was like, she was like, well, I'm a little fucked up, so, how about you guys take the reign in front of the camera? They were like, what? We get to be on camera? You know? I thought it was funny that during the credits they did show, like, the Meek twins, like, trying to film it, and it was just, I just thought that was probably the more entertaining part, because it looked more ad-libbed. It looked like they were just kind of filming off the cuff, you know, and the fact that they had two cameras rolling, so then during the credits you could see Mason, you could see the girl, you could see both of them, like, you know, at the same time. That was probably the only, like, the credits, that was the only interesting part. Yippee skippy. But yeah, this was dumb as shit. This was fucking dumb as shit. It was like, the kills weren't even, like, that exciting. Because, again, like, the kills in the last movie were fucking insane. You're just like, what the fuck? Okay. And then the two ghost faces, like, stab, and then they wipe the knife, like, all choreographed. You're like, you know, that stuff. Like, crazy, you know? But, oh my god, yeah, like, this was ass. And again, everyone knew it was going to be ass. But, you know, you kind of have to just, like, witness the train wreck yourself, you know? I don't know what they're going to do with the 8th one, you know what I mean? Like, because I think, was it Neve Campbell got paid, like, $7 million? Because they knew they had to give her some fucking money for her to agree to this, you know? And I love how they kept being like, she was like, I should have been there in New York with you guys. I should have been there. And Courtney Cox was like, no. Or she'd be like, or Courtney Cox was like, New York was really bad. Good thing you weren't there. And it was just like, remember the Better movie? You know? Remember the Better movie? But anyway, yeah, so that was Scream 7. Oh my god. Again, it was nice seeing Matthew Lillard again. You know? It was AI. I love the whole, like, oh, before I worked in, mental institution, I was working in, like, counterintelligence or something. What? Okay, I guess you were terrible at it, that you had to get that job. You got fired probably for doing weird shit like this, because you mental yourself. I don't know, man. Like, just, The moment the knife was going through drywall multiple times and all that stuff with ease, like hot knife through butter type of shit, I was like, I mean, I checked out a while before that when they were trying to make you think that it was the boyfriend, it was the duh, it was the duh duh duh, and it's like, no. And I do love that they were like, we'll gather everyone in one room. We're like, one of you guys have to be the ghost face. Turns out it was none of them, which I had a feeling. But anyway, whatever.